Yeah. I just won't look at them. I remember these two when I was starting out went back to work when I was 50. Anyway, I had them in PE a little bit, and they were just little squirts, and as cute as they could be, but always, were really good, and I always enjoyed having them, and I know there are other people here who may have had them. Anyway, we're really excited for you and hope the best for you. Know that you will be a good contribution to your college where you go. And curfew is 10, right? Because you're going to be up at 8 o'clock for those early morning classes and things like that. So we wish you the best, and thank you so much for all of your contributions to our church and to our community.
Yeah, you can put that back there. Yes, thank you very much. Allison, what's in store for you next year?
I'm going to Morningside.
Whoop, wait.
I'm going to Morningside, and I'm going to be an elementary teacher.
And you got a
I'm going to
scholarship,
play
right?
softball.
Softball, full-year scholarship. Cody, what about you?
I'm going to Buena Vista in Storm Lake and to study physical therapy and play football.
All right. In that order, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. Well, one of the things that I always look forward to is the opportunity to visit your church when you are in college. So when I come visit, you can always take me to your church. Now, Allison, you'll be here, so it's right here. Cody, you'll let me know when you get a church lined up and I get to go. Okay.
Because I know our kids did.
Yeah. Anyway, we have your own personalized Bible with your names on it for graduation. Congratulations, and thanks for all you've done. Whoop. Sorry. Good job, Cody. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Bonnie. Well, why don't we take a few moments right now? We've got a little area here. Let's stand up and say good morning to one another.
Holy One, may your presence here open our our minds. May your Spirit among us help us to find you are rising up now like a fountain of grace from the holy ground here in this place, here in this place. Holy One, may your presence here open our minds. May your Spirit among us help us to find you are rising up now like a fountain of grace from the holy ground here in this place, here in this place.
We will rejoice, for your grace, O Lord, has overflowed for us. We will rejoice, for your grace, O Lord, has overflowed for us.
Holy, holy, holy God, of love and majesty, the whole universe speaks.
You got one? I bet you do. What?
Is like to of each other, and no matter what the other person does, or no matter what they do or say, or that you think they deserve, that they should always get a second chance.
Oh, I like that. So, she said that, let me see if I can get this right, okay? That when people do something and they make a mistake, we always get a second chance.
Like Adam and Eve.
Like Adam and Eve. Do you know anybody else in the Bible who got a second chance? Anybody else?
No one did.
Uh-huh. Do you know, how often do you guys mess up at home? Okay, raise your hand if you ever mess up at home. Come on, get your hands up. Come on, Addie. Even you. So,
Everyone misses out.
yeah. You know what? I mess up. I already messed up once today, at least. So, do your parents, or do you think they're still angry with you for something you did last week? Or about the week before that?
No, they probably forget about that.
They've forgotten, haven't they? Which means they've forgiven you, haven't they? And they're giving you a second chance. Who else gives us? Doesn't God give us a second chance? He does. Always gives us a second chance and a third chance and a fourth chance. And it keeps on going. He forgives us and gives us grace all the time so that we can learn and become better Christians for Him. Isn't that awesome that we get forgiven? Because, man, I would be in big trouble if God wasn't forgiving me all the time. No, really, if He'd expected me to be perfect, I'd be in big trouble. How about you guys? Will, how about you? Are you perfect yet? No? Ben, are you getting there? Is it getting better or worse? None. Your status quo? Okay. You guys are awesome. And Sydney, thank you. We just,
Your sermon.
I just kind of winging it here. No, I'm just sitting here doing it. All righty?
So I guess
Yeah? No, you gave me the topic and we just talked about it. Okay, you guys can go back to your Sunday school room. Thank you.
And now Arlene is going to play for us our hymn that will introduce our live performance of People in the Bible. So if you would please sing along to Tell Me the Stories of Jesus. And now, Merle and Dulce.
There you go. We're on. Good morning. Our first scene comes from Genesis chapter 37. Joseph had a coat of many colors. Wouldn't he have looked dashing with a hat of many colors? Next we have from Exodus, beginning with chapter 12. Moses, at the age of 80, and Aaron, his 83-year-old brother, led the Israelites out of Egypt. These hats would have been great on their long journey. From the Exodus chapters 19 and 20, maybe Moses would have appreciated this hat as he carried the 10 Commandments off Mount Sinai. And were those stone tablets ever heavy? From the book of Ruth, a Moabite woman, was married to Mahlon. Her dear mother-in-law was Naomi. After Mahlon and his brother both died, Ruth traveled to Naomi's homeland with her. These hats would have been just great for their journey. From the book of Ruth, Boaz, a rich farmer, could have worn his John Deere cap, and I'd bet he'd have liked a John Deere tractor to drive as he looked over his grain fields. Boaz noticed Ruth among his reapers, and he left extra barley for her. When he started courting her, he would have probably have worn a hat like this. From Samuel chapter 7, David could have used a cap to keep the sun out of his eyes as he battled Goliath. From the book of Job, when Job, a very rich man, lost everything, he could have used any kind of hat or cap. Moving on to the New Testament, from Luke chapter 2, baby Jesus, wrapped in swaddling clothes, could have used this warm little cap. From Luke 2:8-20, the shepherds outside of Bethlehem on Christmas Eve would have appreciated a warm cap like this as they went to see the babe in the manger. From Matthew chapter 2, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, the 3 kings from the east followed the star so they could find the one who was born of the Jews. Their crowns were fancier than these. Wouldn't they would have liked to have had a fast food lunch at Burger King on their journey? When they saw Mary and the child, they bowed down and worshiped him. They presented him with gifts of gold, incense, and myrrh. From Matthew chapter 3, John the Baptist was preaching in the desert of Judea. He could have used a hat like this to keep the hot sun from beating on his head. From Matthew 4, Jesus was walking by the Sea of Galilee. Simon called Peter and his brother. Andrew could have been wearing hats like these because they were fishermen. Jesus said, "Come follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." At once they left their nets and followed him. From Matthew 9:18-23, Jairus, a ruler of the synagogue, had a daughter who was very sick. Other doctors had tried to make her well, but she grew sicker. Jairus went to get Jesus as he had heard of his ability to heal. Before Jesus got to Jairus' house, the child died. Jesus went up to the child, took her hand, and she got up. She could have worn a hat like this. From Matthew 14:13-21. It was evening. Jesus and his disciples were in a remote place. A large crowd followed them on foot. The disciples wanted to turn them away so they could go into the villages and buy food. A boy came forward with 5 loaves and 2 fish. I'll bet that boy could have liked a cap like the boys wear today. From Mark 13:41 through 44. The poor widow gave her last 2 very small copper coins into the temple treasury. She most likely only wore an old headscarf. From Luke 8:1 through 3, Mary Magdalene was always busy following Jesus along with the other disciples. With no time to shop, she could barely use a new scarf like this. From Luke 10:25 through 37. When the Good Samaritan was walking on the road to Jericho, he could have worn a hat like this when he stopped and cared for the man who was robbed and beaten. From Luke 10:36 through 42. 2 sisters lived in a village. Martha opened her home to Jesus and his disciples. Martha could have used a scarf to cover her head as she worked. Her sister Mary sat at Jesus' feet and listened to him speak. From Luke 15:11 through 32. When the last son returns to his father and he is welcomed with a ring and a new robe, he may have had a cap like this. From Luke 19:1 through 10. Zacchaeus was a chief tax collector, and he was wealthy. This hat would have given him extra height, as he was a very short man. From Acts 9:1 through 17. Saul could have worn a black hat when he persecuted the followers of Jesus. He was full of sin. After Ananias placed his hands on Saul, he could see again. He was filled with the Holy Spirit and was baptized. Perhaps then he wore this hat. White is for free from sin. From Acts 16:11 through 15. Lydia, a dealer in purple cloth, was a worshiper of God. She would have looked nice in this purple hat when she met Paul and invited him to her house. And those are the stories. The end.
Very good. Thank you very much. Could you come back up here, please? Can't get off that easy. Well, Dulce and Merrill, we thank you so much for coming this morning and giving us the presentation of the stories of the Bible. Did you guys put that together? Did you write it and come up with all the costumes? No? Well, nice. Very nice. Yeah.
When I couldn't sleep one night.
When you couldn't sleep.
One night I thought of it, and then she found the things in the Bible.
Wonderful. And where have you done this before? Have you put it on for other churches?
Well, yes. Just our own church.
Just your own church. Okay.
Several times, so.
Well, I'll bet. Oh, good. Well, good. The ARC, a few years ago, spent 5 years probably putting together cookbooks. So we'd like for you guys to have one each. They're fantastic. They've got everything in there. Oh, wonderful. That's perfect then. So
thank you
thank you
very
once
much.
again. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.